Hi there, I'm John from the London Model Bus Builder. I've just come back with a little secret model kit to make. It's a tunnel STL and I'm going to be building that very soon. Been looking forward to doing one of those actually. But I'll show you a little bit about building model buses, very much from a beginner's point of view. We run a Facebook group, and on the Facebook group we talk about building model buses, now particularly London model buses. But what I'm going to show, hopefully over the course of a few videos, is going to pertain to any type of white metal bus. So if you'd like to follow me, we'll go and have a look where it all happens and get started, and I'll show you what's inside a bus. So it's a little bit an introduction to white metal buses. Come with me. It's up the garden path. I actually do all my stuff from within a cabin, so it's usually quite seasonal because it gets very cold in the winter. Anyway, please do come with me. It seems to me there's quite a lot of people now in the Facebook group, the London Model Bus Builder, which I'll put a link to in the description of this video. And it seems to be a lot of the same people posting, which is really nice. I mean, you see some really fantastic things. But what I'd like to do is, for those perhaps who haven't got yet into the model building, I'd like to show them what it's all about. So hopefully people will be asking questions, be able to ask questions, or feel they'll be able to ask questions. There's three of us moderators there, or admin, and that's Michael Bates, Mick, the Stephen King, and myself, John E. Jones. So if you'd like to come with me, and we'll get cracking and show you what it's all about. Trying to be a bit sneaky here actually. I'm going to get this into the shed, get it all hidden away before anybody notices I bought another one. But anyway, it's all happening up in here in the cabin here. There's all sorts of crafts and things going on there, so it gets rather messy. It's rather messy at the moment because I'm repairing a guitar and I'm refinishing it and setting it up for fun. Please do come in. Here we have our model bus all ready to get going, and that's where it all happens. Thank you for coming with me. So what I want to do is have a look at the kits and see what's inside them and what you would need as a basic startup of putting them together. Now I keep all my kits here, so what we'll do, we'll have a look at them and we'll see if we can choose something, and we'll have a look at that, and also that tunnel STL that I just bought. So here's a range of different models. They come from different manufacturers. These are ABS models along here, which is like the one that I just bought. There's all different types there. You'll see we've got an LTL, which is also known as a scooter. There's a T-type there. There's a GS. There's another scooter. I've got quite a few of those to make. Green Line RF, 1951 Central RF, or Green RF, Country RF. There's a Leyland Cub there. Underneath there is a front entrance Wayman STL. So I've got quite a few STL kits. Bluebird LT, Bluebird LT, all different types of B-type bus. General ST, that's like the LT but the shorter version there. Another one underneath it. Here we have an open stairs ST, which is of the Tilling type, other type, pre-war RT. They're all different types, and service vehicles as well. Hiding in the back there is a half-made Leyland Cub, which was the interstation version. So there's all various different types, and then you come on to a different manufacturer. These are the ones which are by Jim Varney. So they're all various kits. There's an awful lot here actually of the same as the ABS kits, so the ST and the STLs and everything. They're the same virtually. I think ABS took them over at some point. There's quite a lot. There's an awful lot here of Route Masters. So coming back down here, there's more Route Masters, more Route Masters, more Route Masters. There's a Q type, the double deck Q type. Again, the RTs are the same. Other manufacturers, the GS models, they're quite they come in quite small packaging, but they managed to cram everything in there. So again, that's a 1946 AEC type, which is the same as that one up there that we were looking at. All very much of a muchness there. And then there's other manufacturers there, which such as RTC models. They're very good. I've got quite a few renowned LTs with there. There's let's have a look what else we got. There's the LTC, which is the triaxle coach. There's a BAE coach to be built. Again, different types of STLs there. Another LT six wheeler. Another STL, all various different types, and then come on to these come really packaged very randomly almost, but these are the Pirate models. So there's that Interstation cub again, and another one. What else have we got? A closed top NS top. I have to write on these actually, because a lot of them don't actually have it on the boxes. The boxes, as I say, they come in various different types of cardboard boxes. So there you've got another type of NS there. So the 2028 is a 4Q4. There's an LGOC type now. That's a really interesting kit, because that will come out as a T1 type, such as Cobham Bus Museums or London Bus Museums T31. So that will make up quite nicely into that. There's all various types, and then onto other manufacturers. MBC. Now MBC are very good. They made a lot of transfers as well. Really good quality transfers. I'll get onto transfers in a minute, but as you can see, there's many different types. There's a Cotswold there, and Brico, and this was something I'd bought quite some time ago, and it's just parts that you can super detail one of the Solidos, which is a nice way of doing things. And there's resin kits and such like here as well, which I won't really go into that. So you can see there's very broad range of kits. These are all London based, but I want to go back to the bench over there, and I'll show you what's inside one of these kits. So we'll grab a kit here. Let's have a Varney STL. That's quite a famous kit, quite a nice easy one to make, and it's an iconic vehicle. So we'll have a look at that one, and we'll compare that against the ABS one that I bought today, the Tunnel STL. We are at the Messy desk, and these are the two models that I picked out of the pile of bits and bobs. Both STLs. This one's a Tunnel STL. Okay, we'll start by showing you what's inside this old Varney kit. They don't make these anymore. Sadly, Jim Varney died recently, so that was a bit of a sad day for all of us in the bus making circles. Okay, and this is what you can expect to find, well, pretty much inside any white metal kit really of 1/76 scale. A set of instructions that'll really talk you right the way through, start to finish, and talks a little bit about the liveries in many of them. I don't know if it does in this one. Exploded diagram, look at that, how fantastic is that? Which is really good, because you can check all the parts on against that before you manufacture it and build it, and make sure that all your bits and bobs are there. And we're going to lay that down there. There was, unless I've just lost it, which I probably have done, there was a little piece of glazing. I think it sounds like he's in there, doesn't he? It's an old kit, and it's got a little bit screwed up. We can probably straighten that out with a bit of tender loving care and whatnot. Or there may be just about enough in there where it isn't bent. I tend to change that anyway for slightly more robust, thicker plastic card, clear plastic card. A set of transfers to make up STL 1301. So it comes with the route, blinds and everything. So you've got front and rear adverts. You've got a lower deck advert in there. It's all quite old now, so it's survived remarkably well. And of course the side adverts, the fleet name, legal lettering. So you're good to go. If you've got all those on there, you've got a pretty well dressed bus. Right. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. It's all put together with kitchen roll by the looks of it. So we're going to need to get into there. I'm just going to, saves tearing it all open. I'm just going to try and make a slight incision with the scalpel there. Not of surgical capabilities or anything. Okay, so what have we got in here? We've got the seats. Seats, that's correct. You'll expect to find those. These are all made of what they call white metal. It's very much like a lead based or pewter type metal. It's extremely flexible, which is nice, and you can always straighten that out if it does come in a little bit bent without any special tools or anything. Anyway, so we've got 4 rows of seats there, 2 upper, 2 lower deck seats. Let's open up this a little bit further, and inside here we've got the roof panel. The roof panel, again, completely all metal. There's lots of flash on there. Do you see the flash on there? That's got to be removed before you can build it, so that'll need to somehow be cut off. And also there's a little bit of casting marks and things about it, which you want to take off with a file. Small little files, needle files particularly. We've got a rear bulkhead there. Again, a bit of extra casting material left on there. Front bulkhead. So we've got pretty much this part, we've got this part here, got the roof, got the seats so far. Stairs all come separate. So that all sits in there. What else have we got here? We've got the driver's cab window, which faces up against the bonnet there. There's a piece of metal here, a little piece of metal that needs to be cut to size, and that will make up the 2 axle parts there, or front and rear axle. So we've got those, they're good. And here we've got the running boards there. They're your life preservers, if you like, which go underneath the bus. They need to be cut to size. I've got here a small piece of metal which I don't really know what that's supposed to be there, but I've got I don't know, we'll find out what that is in a bit. That's it may just be a bit of extraneous material. Okay, so, and there we got a little bit of brass wire which will make up the stanchion, which will make up the monkey pole, if you like. And there's the other life preserver. So inside the next one, get out my surgical equipment again, and we'll do a very, very gentle procedure there against that. And in here we'll have the rest of the parts, the main parts. So here we have the front of the bus. It's already got the radiator attached there. So this this particular front here is with just a 2-panel display, which you would use that with a roof box, so that'll fit on the front and go with the roof box that way. Okay, so there'll be another one here which has got 3-panel display. There's 3 windows in there, and what you'll have to do if you're going to use that one is file off the roof box here. It's a pretty simple thing to do, just with a small file, and take that off and round it and curve it into the shape that it's meant to be. Again, you know, radiator sitting on there, and that's pretty much ready to go. Okay, so now we have the rear panel that actually comes in on an STL. It's got a very sort of raked in sort of back end on there. I don't know if that's the correct word for it or if I've just invented that, but I like it. Okay, and again, this is going to need a little bit of cleaning up there. See inside there by the, that's all going to need to be come out by the handrail there. It cuts out fairly easily, it's not a problem. I use a little scalpel. Side panel, so we've got the offside panel, near side panel. That again just needs cleaning up, and Then the offside panel with the driver's door and everything. Again, clean it up, and that's upper deck. And the chassis or the lower deck there with the little cutouts there where, if you look carefully, the axles will pop into there. So that's quite simple and quite straightforward. All these little parts just need to be cleaned up with a little file, a small razor file. They're not sorry, a small needle file. They're not terribly expensive. So what else have we got? Let's keep that lot separate because this needs to go back in the bag. So we've got a pair of axles, and this one's actually got the leaf springs on there, so we know that this is the front one, and that'll be the rear axle, and that retains the axle itself. So, and that again will fit onto there. There's just a kind of little groove in there. Do you see that? I don't know if the camera's picking it up, and that'll just sit in there. And when you glue that, they can be freewheeling if you like, so the wheels will rotate if you want them to, or you may want to sturdy them up with a bit of glue or something. Right, 4 wheels, rear wheels, which of course are the double set wheels. Rear wheels. No dustbin lids on those or wheel covers, but on the front there's wheel covers. So they're quite nice. They need cleaning up a little bit as well. So all of this stuff, you might have been expecting rubber tyres, sort of like a Dinky or a Corgi toy, but a lot of the kits don't actually come with that type of tyre, but I prefer the metal ones. You can just paint those up, and if you paint them up into a grey colour, into a dark grey colour, I think they look a lot more realistic than the shiny the black rubber. Here we have a front mudguard which sits into the chassis there, so that'll all pop in there, go over the wheel. Driver's seat wouldn't be much good without a driver's seat, would we? Driver's seat, steering wheel. Here we have the near side headlight, which fits into the chassis there up against the dumb irons. You see the 2 dumb irons there, that would fit into up to there. And more seats here, so that'll be the upper deck back seat. And you see that's slightly at an angle there. It's sort of a camber. There's a camber to the upper deck, so that will sit in the back of the upper deck there quite nicely, and straighten it up. Otherwise it'll look at a jaunty angle, it'll look rather silly, wouldn't it? Driver's cab floor there, onto which we would fit, if I can do it without dropping it, the steering column. The steering column just mounts into there with the steering wheel on top. Then this needs to be cut to shape because obviously as it is at the moment it's rather long, and the steering wheel will be up through the ceiling, and the upper deck passengers will be doing the steering, no doubt. Bonnet, yeah, there's your modesty panel, and that'll stop people falling down the stairs from the upper deck as well. But I'm not sure what that panel's called. If you know, let me know. And that'll just attach itself, or it won't attach itself, you'll have to do it. That attaches to there as such on the upper deck, so that all goes together. You've got your 2 lateral seats, they're the ones which sit across the back there, same as you would have on a Routemaster or an RT. And this little chap here, last but not least, this one goes under the stairs. This is where the conductor's cubby hole is. So you've got everything pretty much you need there. I've got another one of these little, I'm not sure, I think I've got a feeling this is just a bit of extra material. Oh no, hang on, that could even be the steering wheel column there. Indeed it could. Indeed that could. I don't know. I would always historically have used a piece of this brass wire or copper wire, whatever it is. Anyway, that's what you're going to find inside pretty much any kit. Is going to be variations of the same. So all they need to be done there is for it to be cleaned up with a file. Also, it's a good idea to scuff the finish, the surface of these a little bit, you know, maybe with a Brillo pad or something, very gently, just to help it along its way there and get any residue that might be there from the casting when it was cast all those many years ago. And that is the STL from Varney. That will go together very nicely on some beautifully made kits around that you can actually buy probably on eBay and such like. But also there's a very, very lovely gentleman by the name of Peter Duplock. He deals in model buses, and he's very, very good at finding and picking up professionally built kits, and he sells them at such a good price. So if you didn't want to make it, that would really take the legwork out of that. Anyway, I'll get on to the next one, which will be the ABS models, Tunnel STL. Pretty much the same kit, just got a slightly different roof on there, because that was made, the Eternal STL was adapted from the normal STL design to go within the Blackwall tunnel, which of course would have taken the roof off a normal one under normal operating. And I shall be opening this one in just a second, but what I'll do is tidy the other one away. You don't want to see that. I can't believe I've just done an unboxing video. I hate unboxing videos, and I don't blame you if you fast forwarded past that, but I'll be back in a second. Okay, here's the Tunnel STL I was talking about. This is the one that I just got. Interestingly though, I noticed on there, it's not a very new model. It came from Model Road and Rail, which was probably the biggest supplier, and certainly I would say the best supplier of model buses. Dinky toys, all sorts of stuff, anything to do with road and rail, train sets, EFE, all that opens up nicely. It's all been rather well looked after, I would say. Again, same sort of thing in here. Instructions. So this is the Tunnel STL, and this one actually doesn't come with instructions, sorry, with transfers, but it does come with a much better piece of glazing. In fact, 2 pieces of glazing, so I'm really covered for the other model as well, aren't I then? That'll do both of them. That's rather good. Let's put that out of the way. Instructions, I'll just dump them down here somewhere and move that little bit out of the way. As I say, this one's a Tunnel STL. It does have a couple of differences. I don't know if they're going to be noted in the model itself, but structurally the vehicle was somewhat different to the STL, the normal STL that it was based on. So anyway, I'm just going to pull bits out of the box to the side there. This is how it's all dressed. Let's just pull bits out there. More of the little baggies there, much the same as you would find it. I'm not even going to bother opening that, I don't think, because it's all the same. You see, you've got everything's pretty much the same. If there are any differences and they show, then I will pull it out, but other than that, it's going to be pretty much the same as the other STL. And that was a very boring unboxing video, and this is going to be just as boring if I'm not careful. Seats again, much the same, but there's slightly different mouldings on these ones, which there may be a reason for that, because the seating layout was different in the Tunnel STLs because of the restrictions, because of the body being more narrow, certainly on the upper deck, which doesn't really show too much in these parts here. But again, you've got the moulded tyres, which are white metal and white metal wheels, so again they'll need to be painted. I think that all looks much the same. Oh, incidentally, these didn't have a roof box. They would never have a roof box because the roof was more domed to go within the Blackwall and Rotherhithe tunnels, particularly the Blackwall tunnel, which was the older of the 2 tunnels. I'm going to move the box out of the way. There's a little bit of history in there that we'll all remember, even the younger ones of us, like me, not like the rest of you. There, see, there's the 3 panel blinds there. There's the rear. Yeah, much the same, very much the same sort of thing. The staircase was actually slightly different as well. That doesn't look at all like the STL, does it? Because of the narrower body, the stairs actually came more towards the front of the vehicle and sort of into the into the saloon, the lower saloon, and the longitudinal seats, instead of having two sets of two, one on the near side, one on the offside, the offside was actually reduced to one because of these stairs coming in towards the saloon, there into the saloon, eating into it. So that's a slight difference there. So there you go. There's the two seats, two sets of longitudinal seats which reflect that. One was the longer and one the shorter. That is a difference when they've caught that. That's rather good. There's none of these, interestingly, left. Not in the wild or even in captivity anymore, because the last one I think was subject to vandalism, and I don't know if it was a fire or not, but there's people out there who will, I'm sure, tell me. I'll tap it in. Alright, a bit more open heart surgery to get into here. This is in tissue paper this time. So this is where we should see slight differences. Yeah, the roof, look at that, it's very, very domed, isn't it? That's because the body came in towards the roof, so it didn't scrape the walls. I mean, the Blackwall and Rotherhithe tunnels were originally single deck. And then in 1927, the NSs were introduced in there, but they had specially modified bodies as well. They were contoured to avoid contact with the tunnel walls. So again, they were narrower and they were a very funny looking thing. And they had inward taper and the domed roof with the seating arrangement on the upper deck of the modified NSs was like the knife board configuration, which was more well known within the sort of Victorian horse buses. That's where the people would sit back to back on seats which all faced out towards the window, and they called that like the Victorian knife board. The knife board, of course, being used in a kitchen, and you would cut things along the knife which was placed on the table, so the knife would actually be facing upwards, the cutting edge upwards. So that was the idea there. So that pretty much is everything in here. Again, the sides very, very similar, very, very similar. No roof box because that's that dome doesn't really allow for that. Chiswick, they designed the replacement on the 4/9 STL chassis, and they ran it through on a skeleton framework, and originally, and this was sort of found to be satisfactory when they tested it in the Blackwall tunnel. The Blackwall tunnel was the older of the two tunnels, and it had tighter tolerances, so it worked in there, so it was always going to work in the Rotherhithe tunnel as well. Standard double-deck buses would have gone through there had it not been for the camber in the road. There was the camber sort of, as is on the top deck there, would have meant that the buses were sort of facing outwards, so the whole bus would be on a tilt towards the walls. And also the cobs that were set into the road, they were very, very irregular, and so it was quite a bumpy, and the bus would be turning here and there a little bit, so it was very irregular, and it caused the buses to tilt and collide with the walls. So that's why this is a narrower bus. It should actually just show there, like this, as it goes in, it sort of comes in towards the top there, just to avoid that contact with the walls there. So it's very much in from side on. It's very much the same bus, but if you look at it from the front, it's the sort of the ugly cousin, if you like. And the capacity obviously was slightly less because of that missing seat on the longitudinal. lower deck seats, so it was, instead of being 56, which was the standard at the time, it was reduced to 55, and the two upper seats on the single seats on the upper deck, these two here, I don't know if you can see that from the design there, they've actually caught that as well on here. So these two, instead of being side by side, here and here, they're actually one in front of the other or one behind the other, whichever way you want to look at it, and that's because of the narrowing here on the upper deck. And there's also kind of a sunken gangway type of thing, which I don't think is modelled in here. I believe that's the case anyway, but correct me if I'm wrong. So that's pretty much it. And they ran on reinforced tyres, specially reinforced tyres, which I don't suppose you can really show in any modelling sense, but the rubber was actually reinforced, because the tyre tolerances meant they were scraping quite often against the curbs. Interestingly, when the STLs were phased out for the Blackwall Tunnel, they had the RT type buses going through there again with the reinforced tyres. So that pretty much covers that. I mean, these were introduced between March and April 1937, although originally they were just put into normal allocation and not onto tunnel duties, which was interesting. But when they were put into tunnel duties shortly afterwards, they went on the routes 108 and I think the 82 as well. There were 40 in total. So they're quite an interesting thing, quite an interesting sort of sub-species, as it were, of STLs, if you like, that sort of thing. I mean, sometimes they even ran on routes 56 and 57, working the Isle of Dogs. And that's all there is to that one. What I'll talk about actually is construction, and how to get around the fact that this didn't come with any sort of transfers or decals of any sort. So I'll talk about that in a moment. Excuse the glasses, I've still got the label on there from when I bought them. I tend to do that because I've got different strengths for different jobs. I'm getting older, my eyesight's on the definitely on the wobble these days. Anyway, that's pretty much what you can expect to find from just about any white metal kit of that sort of size. I was going to go through this little box actually, because this is rather, I always like looking at these. This sort of gives you an idea of when it was manufactured. 17th of August is the date on this little piece of, I think it's possibly the Radio Times that came out. So this is a little bit of history here. Look. So what have we got? Sunday the 8th of August. What year would this be, I wonder? 1993. So that's when this kit, the STL, was all manufactured and put together, and of course sold by Model Road and Rail. Nice. That's a nice little bit of history. What was on? I don't even know. I never watched television very much anyway. But it was Dynasty was on, and Road to Rio. Oh, I don't know. What are these sorts of things? I have no. Joshua Jones. Good surname. No idea. So, but it's nice, isn't it? Nice little bit of history there, and that's sort of how it was all packed up. And somebody screwed it all up, stuck it in the bottom there, and put the bits in on top, and that's job for good one then, isn't it? Let's stick those in very carefully because they are quite bendy, the white metal parts, so I don't want to force it all in there. Anyway, that's got a white metal kit. Pretty much all of them come like that. Obviously, the Varney one came with transfers, and the Tunnel STL didn't. So you now have a situation where you're going to have to source transfers. I probably have some transfers for that one, but I keep all my transfers in this little box here. So I can just show you what you can get. LBRT, they're massive supplier of London transfers. He does largely the transfers here for for the EFE models and such. But they tend to work rather well with the white metal kits as well. So what you would get from him, you can sort of say, well, I would like to build an RF or whatever, and I want RF whatever number, and you look it up, and pretty sure he's gonna have transfers for that model. Sunrise Transfers, that's the place where I get probably the bulk of everything from. Now he took over from a guy called Graham Orchard, who made most wonderful kits, built the kits and sold the kits built. I mean, they were just absolutely scrumptious. I've got one just here, which I'll show you in a moment. But Sunrise there, let's get you up close on there. Hopefully you can see that. Get hold of George Heaney if you ever need anything London transport wise. He's got it all the old London General stuff as well. It's all on there, all there. He's taken over from MBC, which were these sorts of transfers there. So this was one I made from a scooter before, but I've only got that little bit left in there now. For whatever reason, I didn't use that, probably because I'm lazy. Actually, this little set here, I've got a few of these sets. These ones came from LBRT. So and I've bought them. I bought them all individually, but this makes up a set for RT1, which are beautifully made. So I'm looking forward to putting those together. But anyway, let's get on with what we were looking for. We were going to look for transfers. Oh, a bit terrible, isn't it? I'll keep everything. You see, it's all different adverts. I've got the side adverts and got the little lower deck rear panel adverts, sort of front and rear adverts. It's all there. I've got it all there. But anyway, in the middle here, I should have all sorts of different things. You can get all these from either of the two that I mentioned earlier. Right, let's just have a little dig around here and see what I've got. I'm not actually sure where everything is. Most of my stuff was bought really from MBC. He unfortunately stopped trading and later died, which is very sad. So what we've got there, pre-war RT, and it came as a set, so that's rather nice. Anyway, let's see what we got. I need to find a tunnel STL. This is going to be a bit boring watching me go through all this lot, but what was the number of the kit? The number of the kit was 311, wasn't Tunnel STL R311. So ER 311. I've got to go back to them. Very nicely laid out there. Do I have anything for Tunnel STL? ER 311. 311. I can't even say it. Yeah, for Route 108 Crystal Palace. Got another one. So I've actually got three sets for the Tunnel STL, so I'll have no problem building one of those up. This comes complete with everything you're going to need bar the adverts. So you've got on there, I don't know if you can see at all, obviously the fleet name, London Transport there, the fleet number, there'll be the number plates, there'll be all the destinations all round, legal letting, and you've got the running number, which in this case is 21, and the garage code. So everything you need to go with that, really. So I've got 3 of those, but I've only got 2 of the kits. I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do know how that happened. I think, I better get some transfers to such and such a kit, even though I've already got them, and I just get them over and over again, because I put them in here and I forget I've got them. And that's that. Anyway, I want to show you what the kits build into. I'm sure you already know, but please humour me when I waffle. Right, let's put those out of the way. Right, here's an STL, same as exactly the same as the one which Varney made. Is this a Varney kit? This is, yeah, it is a Varney kit. London Transport STL. This is actually probably the second or third kit I ever built, and I made it up or tried to make it up, and many years ago as a wartime livery. Yeah. So the transfers there. That's an old Mabex. I think that was a Mabex. It's another supplier, but I find the Mabex ones are slightly getting old now, and they do fall apart a little bit. And I think I've used largely transfers that came with the kit. I don't think you can print your own as well if you've got a printer. But so I rather like the idea of grey tyres, because I'd seen in Model Road and Rail, I'd seen these buses with the grey tyres, but I think I messed up a bit on the colour, a little bit too grey. But anyway, that was my first effort ever at an STL. More recently, I made this one. I must have given it a polish something. I've left all the cloth on it. I made this one. This was actually a restoration job. It wasn't from the start. So I think it's a fictitious livery. I got it into my head that I'd seen a picture of it like this as a green country area bus. STL 2093, and I had it in my head that STL 2093, somebody can correct me, you can tap away and say, no, actually it was only in red or whatever, but I'd got the idea that was a green bus at some point, so I painted it up as such. I'll talk a little bit probably about paints in another video, if that's all right. And finally another STL. Now this is beautifully built. This is built and painted by Graham Orchard of NBC Models. I bought this at a really knockdown price, silly low price, because it had a wheel missing. One of the rear wheels was actually missing out of this one. But I think, which one was it? I don't know which one it was now. Well, what I did, I found out the colour that he was using for the tyres eventually, so I put my own wheel on the end in the end, and mixed the paint up myself just as an experiment and I'll tell you how I did that, as an experiment to see if I could get the same colour without having to spend an awful lot of money on the bus colours range. So anyway, this is beautifully. Graham Orchard, the guy I'm talking about, he always built the shell and had it so that the chassis, upper deck and lower deck, would plop. It would plop down onto it, and that's a really good idea, because that means you can spray the whole shell. I mean, he's obviously used spray paint here. I guess out of an airbrush would probably be the way to go because of the colours of it and everything. But everything's just so beautifully built, and that's that's amazing. It makes mine look so poor. And the other thing is, he soldered his together. All the joints, everything was soldered together. It's so crisp and so clean. Whereas I'd used Araldite on mine, and it's really quite messy. It's not as good at all. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but it's nowhere near as good as what he does. I mean, he was the master, and to have one of his models is a real treat. You can use Araldite or Devcon types of paints and types of glue. Also, there's a range of squeaky paint that comes out from Phoenix Precision. So these are available, I think, from I forget where I got these from actually. These probably they're the Phoenix range. I can't remember where I got them from. It's probably on here actually. Yeah, I think I got them from Fox Transfers. But there's a whole range of different colours that they do there, like London Country Green, Tillings Red. I use a lot of the Humbles as well. There you go. We've got another Tillings Red. I don't know. You see, I bought two. I didn't know that. I already had them. I just don't know what I'm doing. LT Bus Red, Ayres Red. So I've got quite a fair old bit of that. Comes in the big pots too. Also the green line and Country Lincoln Green. They come in the bigger pots as well. Very useful, very useful. And I tend to blow them through an airbrush, although they will paint on quite nicely with a brush. I know a very, very good model maker, Lloyd Rich. He prefers to use a paintbrush, and his results absolutely speak volumes for why he does that. Excellent model maker, excellent model maker. He's got a very good Flickr channel, and he makes some pretty extraordinary models, and favours a slightly larger scale as well, so he's worth checking out. He's also a member of the London Model Bus Builder, which is obviously our Facebook group. I do urge you to come along and have a look at that. Other interesting or useful places to visit on the internet would be the Model Bus Federation. That's I've been a member of that for quite a few years actually, and you get a journal every month. It's very nice to look through there. Look, they've got their own shop as well, so that's a really good place to source model buses from. Let's see, what can you get from them? All sorts of things, So they've got street scene wheel sets, radiators, scenic items, wheel sets again, body accessories. What we got here, buses, which is this range of buses, the ABS or now it's MBF street scene series. I mean, they've got all sorts of stuff there. I mean, it's not just London Transport. This covers everything. These guys are fantastic. So, but look, the prices are ridiculous. You can get a Routemaster 1959 Central Area kit, or a Routemaster LT Central Area Shilly Beer kit. £15 each. That's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I mean, this was 1993. It was £22.50. I mean, that was the going price. That was a reasonable price in its time. But £15, look at this, Bristol LDECW, which I wouldn't know what that is. This complete mystery to me, that one. It's nothing to do with London. It's not red or green, I don't understand. £10. Isn't that fantastic? So that's really worth joining this place, just to go shopping, really. Here we go. What we've got? AEC Regent 3 Wayman open top. £10 for a bus. That's it's madness that they can sell them for these prices. It's brilliant. I mean, these are good kits. They're great to cut your teeth on, aren't they? I mean, if you want to start and you don't want to, a bit nervous about going out and spending. Some of these kits they're selling on eBay and whatever for ridiculous, up to £100. I mean, you have to be slightly mad or whatever to buy for that price, but they do go for that price, and I've done it myself. So that's another way of doing things. Anyway, let's put that away. I use an airbrush a lot to put my colours down as well. So I'll go into painting and building in another video. But anyway, thanks for listening to my absolute drivel and waffle. Hopefully, if you are just starting, then it's pretty good. It's pretty easy. It's a good hobby to get into. Keeps you out of mischief as well. So that's the main thing for me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And hopefully I'll make another video up soon if I get any views on this one and people don't turn away. Cheers. Take care now. Thank you. Bye.